Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart died suddenly at the age of 35, leaving behind masterpieces that the whole world still listens to today. But his death is still controversial. Was it an accident, illness, or malice? In November 1791, Mozart suddenly became ill. At the beginning, he simply complained of fatigue, but after a few days there was a severe headache, fever, and terrible weakness. Gradually, his body began to swell, especially his hands and feet. The swelling was so severe that he could not even turn over in bed. His wife Constance and closest friends were horrified, but the doctors could not make an accurate diagnosis. His contemporaries noted that he smelled like a rotting corpse, though he was still alive. This could have been a symptom of slow poisoning. A few weeks before his illness, Mozart received a strange order. An unknown masked man came to him and asked him to write a requiem mass. The requiem. He did not say for whom the music was intended and demanded complete anonymity. Historians have discovered that the official commissioner of the requiem was Count Franz von Walsegg. This man was a music lover, but no one took his work seriously. Walsegg often bought music from composers and passed it off as his own, signing his name. But there was one but. He didn't go to Mozart in person. Walsegg sent an intermediary, the mysterious stranger in the black cloak. Some researchers believe that Walsegg was just a screen. Someone else may have used his name to conceal his identity. Mozart accepted the order, but soon began to panic. He believed he was writing this music for himself. Just 2 days before his death, he repeated to his wife, "I am not mistaken. I know I have been poisoned." There were many good doctors in Vienna at the time, but strangely, Mozart was only treated for 2 weeks, and after his death, no one performed an autopsy. His symptoms resembled mercury, antimony, or aconite poisoning. These poisons act slowly. A person first feels weakness, then convulsions, internal organs fail. It's exactly like Mozart's. But who could have benefited from this? Maybe this mysterious customer of the Requiem knew more than it seems. On December 5th, 1791, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart died. He was only 35 years old. The official cause was acute rheumatic fever. But the strange thing is different. No doctor was able to make an accurate diagnosis. They only watched his condition worsen. And the most mysterious thing is that a few years later, almost all the doctors who treated him disappeared or died under strange circumstances. Coincidence? Or did someone want the truth to never come out? During the last days of Mozart's life, 2 famous Viennese doctors treated him. They examined him every day, but they never realized what was happening to him. If Mozart had really been poisoned, his attending physicians might have guessed it. But here's the strange thing. One doctor soon left Vienna and disappeared forever without a trace. Another died suddenly just 2 years after Mozart, and the cause of death was never officially announced. Historians are still arguing. Some believe Mozart died of a common illness, others believe he was poisoned. Before his death, Mozart blamed his poisoning on a specific person, but for some reason his name disappeared from most of the documents of the time. A few years after his death, one man confessed to the composer's murder. Mozart's fate is the story of a gifted but uncomfortable man. He performed for kings, aristocrats, and the Pope. But despite his talent, he couldn't keep his mouth shut. He openly ridiculed people in high places. He refused to be a pocket musician at court. He thought he was a genius, and he made no secret of it. Such audacity couldn't go unchallenged. He had too many enemies. His music was envied. He knew the dangerous secrets of powerful people and may have crossed the path of someone who does not forgive mistakes. Few people know, but Mozart was a member of the Masonic Lodge. In the 18th century, it wasn't just a secret society, It was a powerful force that controlled politics, finance, and even the arts. In 1791, a few months before his death, Mozart wrote the opera The Magic Flute. In it, he used Masonic symbols and rituals, making them public. In the Masonic lodge, divulging secrets was punishable by death. Perhaps he knew something too dangerous and was removed to keep the secrets of the society. Version 2. Mozart's main rival was Antonio Salieri. He was at court, had the support of influential people, and was often overshadowed by the more talented Wolfgang. In 1823, Salieri, already being an old man, suddenly confessed, "Yes, it was me who killed Mozart." After that, he was recognized as a madman, and later he recanted his words. But the strange thing is, why did he say it in the first place? After Mozart's death, Salieri's career took off, and his style of music suddenly began to resemble that of his late rival. Perhaps he really was involved, and his confession is an attempt to clear his conscience before his death. Version 3. Mozart was not a man comfortable with authority. He often mocked the aristocrats, spoke openly of injustice, and despised the court. He dreamed of making music accessible not only to the elite, but also to the common people. Many powerful individuals did not want his ideas to spread. What's easier, trying to control a rebel or simply removing him? Perhaps Mozart's death was a political assassination organized at court to preserve the old order of things. Mozart died at the age of 35, unexpectedly and under suspicious circumstances, but the doctors did not even try to find out the exact cause of death. There was no autopsy. Even in those days, if a man died so suddenly, his body was usually examined. But with Mozart, it was different. He was buried quickly and not given a chance to find out the truth. Mozart was buried without honors, without a headstone, or even an exact burial place. And strangest of all, his body disappeared without a trace. A few years after his death, the grave was opened, but there were no remains. There's even a secret theory that Mozart's body was never buried at all. What if his death was staged? Mozart's death is shrouded in mysteries that are still hotly debated. Was it an accident, a conspiracy by the Freemasons, or personal revenge? Maybe someday we will know the truth. But for now, we can only listen to the brilliant music he left to the world.